Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cosplayers Paradigm, a podcast all about cosplayers and conventions they've gone to, everything inclusive. Today, we have with me a new cosplayer that I was lucky and fortunate to meet at the previous Grand Rapids Comic Con Spring Fling, which will now be known as the Kalamazoo Comic Con Spring Fling. We have Mars. So, hello.
Hi.
Now, of course, this would be the first time that she's been on here. Um, First time she's done anything like this. So we're going to be very nice and we're not going to go ahead and do anything crazy. But I have to say, at the Comic Con, when I saw you, you nearly hit me with the hammer when I saw you first. But that's what got my attention. You did an Amy Rose, and from head to toe, you had this giant hammer, and I'm just enthralled, like, oh my gosh, this thing is amazing. Didn't even care that it was actually this close to my face, but that just showed the detail right there. I mean, I was like, oh, I have to get a picture. And then here we are.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah. Well, I feel so bad because that's one thing. Like, when I made the hammer, I didn't think about that. I was like, I'm gonna make the hammer big because Amy's hammer, it's like half her size. And I see people who have like a tiny one, which is completely fine. But I was like, I want to do something new. I want to try and make a big one. And then, the minute I get into the con, like 2 seconds in, I have people asking for a photo, which I was not expecting. And that was amazing. But I feel so bad because all of a sudden I'd like whip it around like I wasn't carrying anything. And then when I was going through the little corners, like at the little stalls and stuff, looking at like Artist Alley and stuff like that, I don't know how I didn't knock anything over. I would sometimes, my sister would be like, let me take that. Let me take that. Because I'd be trying to be like, oh wow, look at this pin, or wow, look at this. And then almost hit like 7 people in the face. And I feel so bad. So it was like, it wasn't like I was trying to, I even remember like holding it really close to me, but oh, that's something I really wish I thought about. I'm so sorry for almost hitting you in the face.
Oh no, you're fine. I would have absolutely loved getting hit by the hammer there.
Yeah.
We go to the cons and we like to have fun. And if you can't joke about something like this, then why? You know.
Yeah, there was
Besides, makes a great memory too. Like, hey, oh my gosh, Sega just sent Amy Rose. I got hit.
no, literally there was this other person that I met at the con, and they were like, wow, your hammer is so amazing. Is it okay if I hold it? And I was like, yeah, of course you can hold it. Just be careful, And then they were like, yeah, whatever. I know that if I did anything, you'd probably hit me with it. And then I was so caught off guard because it was such a I didn't know how to respond. And so then I just went, I would, deadpan. And then they laughed, and I was like, I'm so glad they thought I was joking, because I was, but I wanted to make sure I was going with the joke, how they thought, because
Yep.
I feel so bad almost hitting people with the hammer. Oh my gosh.
No, you're absolutely fine. I mean, people have gone to the cons. They've had giant swords. They've had the giant cross that Wolfwood has from Trigun.
Mm-hmm.
They've done all these other big props. Now, sometimes things happen, but it's more or less the ones that are smaller, in my opinion, that are harder to deal with. You have something thin, like a flag or a sword or something. If you're not paying attention to, because they're so small, it can come out of nowhere. So the larger the item, in my opinion, no worries, easier to bump off of. But like I said, has a great. Now, let me ask you this: what was your initial thoughts into cosplay? Like, what was your main drive for first doing it?
Oh my gosh. So I grew up literally, I think before I ever so my dad, he's a really big nerd, and he was really into manga and anime and stuff like that. So growing up, he would show me a lot of that. My first video game I ever played was The Legend of Zelda, the little the one of the Legend of Zelda Link to the Past. That was one of the first games I played, along with Skyward Sword. So I grew up on all of the I grew up on all of these nerdy games and nerdy things. And as a kid, I would start dressing up as the characters from the games. So when I was 9, I dressed up as Link because he was my favorite.
Nice.
And how that also kind of pushed me into cosplay because as I was looking at costumes, I was like, how do these people look so cool? And so then I get into 5th grade and I get into my Voltron phase, and then I meet like my group of friends and I meet my best friend. And he, who was really into cosplay, had already been to cons, started teaching me about it and was like, you know, it'd be really cool if like you found out what this was and would like show me his cosplays, show me like the people that he liked watching. And like I was like, wow, this is so cool. So like I kind of like dipped my feet into cosplay for a little while. I did like Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist because I grew up on that TV show. Don't ask my dad why it was a good idea to show an 8-year-old Full Metal Alchemist. I still loved it though, but like it was scary, but I loved it. So, and Edward Elric, he's still like a favorite character of mine. So, and my friend had actually just been dabbling in like cosplay props and stuff and had like an arm. So I got to wear like this really cool arm and take photos. It was really cool. And I can't find any photos from way back then because it was like when I was 12. And so then as I was getting older, I started realizing like I really want to do this. Like I'm sick of just kind of dressing up for Halloween one year and then being like, well, that was fun. I like actually decided like I honestly want to do this stuff, and I had realized that I'm not going to care what people think and I'm just going to do it. So for Halloween, I dressed up as Hatsune Miku and I had to make my own headband, like make my own headphones, and so my friend helped me with that. And so then I was like, okay, I think this is something I'd like to do, and especially when it came to like wig styling, that was a lot of fun. I really like doing like the makeup and the styling of wigs. So then I was like, you know what? There's a con really close to my birthday. And so my dad was like, how about for your 17th birthday, I will pay for like half of your cosplay stuff so you can put all of your work and like make this really cool cosplay, and then your first con you can do a cosplay contest. And I was like, that was an amazing idea. Happy birthday to me. Oh my gosh. And so that's how I then got here. It was like being a nerd for a really long time, then finally being like, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it.
Man, did not know that that was actually around your birthday. Had I known that, I would have said happy birthday.
Well, my birthday was in March, and then the con was like 2 weeks because like it was late March was my birthday. So then it was kind of like it wasn't it like I called it like a birthday present, and I kind of acted like it was my birthday. I was so happy. And so that I also said it was like a birthday miracle when I got my award because I did not expect to win. I was like, I'm gonna do this for fun, get myself out there. I've never done this before. And then when I got like a second, even if it was second place, I was like, whoa.
Nonetheless, I mean, we saw the hand, we saw the cosplay, you know, and hearing the story that this was your first time doing this, and you take home second place. I mean, just the thought of that. I mean, most people would get up there wanting to do this, and maybe they don't place, and that's fine. But to go ahead and have your first time, and with the great support of your dad, I mean, that is just amazing. I mean, kudos to dad, big time.
Yeah, that was, and like
Wow.
it was great because I paid for some of it, of course, with my birthday money, but like he was all down trying to get me the right things. He actually was the person who, because we had to, of course, order some stuff off of Amazon, and I needed a red dress for here. Actually, I have it right next to me. I have my little box of cosplay stuff. So of course, Amy wears a red dress. So I was looking for one where we would, because we did have to alter it, but we were looking for one that was red and had an open back like hers, but I could still have like a collar. And so my dad found this dress, and actually, because I was stressing because the dress I originally wanted wasn't going to come in time. So my dad was like, I found this dress. Excuse me. I found this dress. Let's just do this one. And I was like, Dad, I don't know. So my dad, who ended up really being like the goat, honestly, like decided to get 2 dresses for me, and then I can pick out which one I like more, which was really kind. And I'm really glad he did that because I feel bad. Like I was kind of stressing because it was like 3 days before the con and I had no dress. And I was like, that's literally what she wears. And so, and luckily we actually went with the one that he picked out, and he was like, I think this is really good. Just think about it when it's altered. And I was like, fine, I'll trust you. And I'm really glad I did because like it's literally perfect. Like, my friend was able to put the white collar on for me and then help me sew the bottom and, like, trim it off so that it was shorter, and, like, now I literally can't imagine having any other dress for it. It's also, like, not like, because sometimes with cosplay material, it can be, like, really thin, if you know what I mean? And this
I
one's, like,
do.
actual dress, which makes it a lot easier because it looks a lot nicer when it comes to, like, photos and stuff like that. And I'm
Yeah.
really just thankful for my dad for really supporting me. But yeah, I'm also thankful for my best friend. I'm not gonna say his name because, you know, I don't think he's comfortable with that. But he literally carried too. Like, I can talk all about that later. But no, it was so great. The support was amazing.
Completely understand that. I mean, respect it, of course. You know, you don't need to say his name. However, if he's watching this, or going to be watching this in the future, I should say, of anyone, awesome job. Just awesome, you know. But that's what
Yeah,
it's about, you know. It's support your friends, support others. Cosplay is for everyone. It's not just for certain individuals, you know, and there's so many different levels, you know.
yeah,
You don't
that's
need to spend a lot. You can spend little, and it's still the same because if you smile or make someone else smile, that's all that matters.
that's so sweet. Like, that's literally it. Like, because at first, that's one of the reasons why I didn't really get into cosplay at first, is because I would measure myself to other famous cosplayers I've seen.
Mm,
And as well, I would hear all of these horror stories of like cosplay convent like events going wrong. And like,
yeah.
especially because like there was some other cosplay events that like happened, and I heard like just people like getting shamed for their cosplays, and like that's something that I didn't want to I didn't want to like risk having that happen to me because I know that like I was like a newbie, and like some of my old costumes, if I ever had like the courage to actually go to a con, like I know that they weren't great, but like I worked hard on them. But then like when I finally decided that I was just gonna do it, and I was like, you know what? Screw those people who are gonna judge me for my costume. But then like when I actually went, I realized that they kind of just highlighted a lot of the negative stuff, and I saw like a lot of positivity. Like the cosplay contest, like it's my favorite thing to talk about. I had so much fun. I met so many new people. Everybody had such amazing costumes from different fields of expertise. It was just so great, and everybody was complimenting each other, and like people like I felt I felt special, and I hope everybody else felt special. I really tried. Like, it's like everybody was like, "Wow, this is super cool," and, like, even if they didn't know the character, I still had people complimenting me and being like, "Wow, that prop's really cool," even if they had no idea that Amy Rose even had in Hammer, and so it was just really cool, like, seeing that, because like, I kinda was expecting to go to the con and people just be like, "Oh, yeah, that's cool," or like, "Who's Amy?" Like, I know they'd know Amy, but, like, when I remember, like, talking to people about it at my school, like, teachers and stuff, and they'd be like, "Who's that?" And I'd be like, "No."
I know how that goes. It's pretty much like when I'm at work. Some of the people I talk to, they're in a different age group, and there's who's that? What? Or uh, I work with three people specifically who don't know anything about movies or shows at all. So it's completely over their head, and I have no reference points. I got nothing. So it's just kind of, hi, yep, never mind.
Yeah.
But
But
no, I
that
mean that was, I mean, all the costumes there were absolutely amazing. But one thing stood out for me just because this ingenuity. He ordered it online, but he Rizinga, and he had that device, the light up device, and it just starts seeing around. Now, of course, in still pictures you can't see it, but if you were there, if you got video of it, it really looked like the Rizinga, and it was just like, dude, you give ideas for next year.
literally, like, the inspiration, like, I had never felt more, like, inspired than when I went to that con. Like, seeing, like sorry, I keep saying like. When I went to the con, and sometimes there's like people who are cosplaying characters who weren't as well known or from like older pieces of media, and still seeing them put so much effort was just so cool. And then even if I had no idea who the character was, I'd still just be there like, wow, that looks amazing. Like, Like I said, I'm not a big Hazbin. Like, I haven't watched Hazbin Hotel or Haluva Boss. No hate against the show. I just haven't had time to watch it. And so, but there was a lot of like Hazbin Hotel cosplayers, and I actually friended or like had talked to someone who she was really sweet. She had made, I think, like this trident. Like, it
Okay.
was just like really cool prop, and there was so many intricate details. They're like, "Yeah, I like 3D printed this." And I was like, "You 3D printed that and then you painted it? What?" Like, that was so cool to
Nice.
hear about. And then like there's another cosplayer, she was cosplaying Barbara from Genshin Impact. And
Okay.
she had like this really cool thing around her that looked like I think it's called like their ultimate or something in the game. And it was like sparkly and like had little music notes, and I was like, that is so cool.
Who you're talking about, during the cosplay contest, she went ahead and sat down one row and the other side from where I was at. So when they
That's
called
crazy.
back up there, she had to go ahead and put it back on.
Yeah, I remember. Oh my gosh, I felt so bad because like I was sitting next to her for a majority of it, but then I decided like stand and wait. And I
Hmm.
remember just being like, oh no, when I heard her name called, because I literally had watched her like pack it up, and I was like, oh no, she's gonna have to put all of that back on. Because I remember her like messing with some of the wires or like the string that was holding it together as we were in line, because she was ahead of me. That's actually how we began talking. Is I was like, because they gave us numbers, and I was like, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm number 14. What's your number? And I'd be like, I literally went down the row, like, what's your number? What's your number? Because I was nervous. And that's how we began talking. And she was like, oh yeah, you're right behind me. And then we like complimented our cosplays. And it was so much fun.
See, hearing stuff like that is just amazing. I mean, most of the people that I've talked to have just talked about the con in general, meeting people, but I haven't really had too many people talk about the cosplay contest, aspect, how that feels. I mean, I've had a few, but not that much. And hearing the details, hearing more like this, it's it's awesome to hear. You get a whole
Yeah,
different side.
that's well, like the cosplay contest, that was the main thing that like of course I really wanted to go to the con, and like for me the main thing was the cosplay. But then once I was like, because part of me was almost like the night before, I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna do this, because I was nervous. And like, because in my head I was thinking like I wasn't thinking it was gonna go wrong. I was just thinking like there's gonna be so many talented people. I'm just starting. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna like be as good as some of the people who are gonna go. And then I told myself, you know what, you have a really cool hammer. Even just being able to show off the cosplay is gonna be fun. And so I was actually like, I feel so bad. I was getting really mad at my dad. I'm like, Dad, we need to be there right at 11 when the cosplay list starts. We need to right now, Dad. Only 50 people can do it. And then like I walk up at like noon when we get there, and I'm like rushing, and I'm like, I'm here to sign up for the cosplay contest. She's like, oh good, you're like number 11. And I was like, oh. I felt so bad for rushing my dad. And like I remember getting like so anxious. And so then when during the prejudging, I was like getting really nervous, and I was like, okay, don't mess up anything you say. You have 2 minutes to talk. And then no, they were really chill. They were really nice, both of them, and they were complimenting me, and they're like, wow, this is great. You're a newbie. And I was like, well, yeah, but like honestly, all of this is thanks to my friend who had a lot more experience and helped me with everything that made it. Because if I did this just by myself, it was not going to look as good. So I was like talking about the experience of making it and what I learned and stuff like that. And it was really nice. And then once the prejudging was done, they're like, okay, yeah, come back at like 3:30. Just line up, you'll be good. And I was like, okay. Like I was taking it so seriously, like because it is a serious thing, but I was taking it way more serious than I needed to be. Like I feel like that's
I,
like the best advice I could give to like my friends or anybody else doing a cosplay contest is like take it slow. Like it's not gonna be like it's not gonna be the end of the world. Like I was putting so much pressure on myself because I was like, this is a cosplay contest. This is a big deal. But it was so much fun, and like even if I didn't place, I would still be so just so happy because of the experience I had. Like, it was amazing.
That's good to hear. I mean, this is what you need, you know, just calm down, have fun, and it's an experience. I mean, you came in with the idea that, okay, I have this to do, I have to be here, I have to do, you know, and of course, it, you know, puts a little bit more stress right there, but, you know, without having done the experience, you wouldn't have known. And now afterwards, now you can be calmer. You know what to do. You know the ins and outs. I mean, there's going to be more, but now you don't have to worry about the rushing part. You don't have to worry about the stress. You can just breathe, enjoy, and take it all in.
Yeah, that was like taking it all in, like finally arriving to the con, getting in line for the cosplay contest, like getting my name on there, and then being told, like, okay, go have fun at the con. I was like, all right. And so as I'm walking around, I'm getting all these people asking me for photos, which was crazy. Like, I was like, I remember talking to my best friend at the time, and at the time, he is still my best friend. I meant like at that moment, I was like, do you think anybody's gonna want to take a photo with me? That'd be really cool. Like, because he was telling me a story about how some like little girl came up to him and asked for a photo, and I was like, I want that to happen to me. Like, I want some little kid to see me and ask and think I'm so cool. And like, can I actually tell a story about when I had a photo? Like, can I?
Oh, yeah,
So
by all means.
okay, perfect. So I'm walking down like one of the rows. So as you know, I'm a really big Sonic fan. So I'm walking down one of the rows, and I'm like looking at all the Sonic stuff, and like just before that, I was walking into. Sorry, I messed up my story. So I'm walking into the con, and I'm walking in, and all of a sudden I see these like two little kids who are dressed up in these little like Knuckles and Sonic little like I think they were like little onesies, and I
Nice.
saw them and I was like, oh, they're so cute, but like I didn't want to like go up to them yet because I was literally pulling my hammer out of the car. So as I'm walking towards the door, all of a sudden I hear these little kid voices go, Amy Rose, and I was like, are they talking about me? So I turn around and I see these kids who are just so excited that like they see another character from their show. I wish I got a photo with them, but they were so sweet. And then like
Aw.
another thing about like the kids, like they also just made me feel happy because it was like they think I'm cool, and like I was hoping that they would. Like, I want kids to come
Yeah.
up to me and be like, wow, like you're really cool, and like I want to inspire them or something. And like, because when I was then walking through the artist alley after that, all of a sudden this dad comes up to me, he's like, my daughter wants a photo with you, and I was like, really? And so I had not gotten like I did not know how to bend down in my shoes, honestly. But I tried, and I like put the hammer next to them, and they were so excited. And then I saw that she had a brother. And so I like waved hi to the brother, and I was like, hi, like, because I was probably like a little scary. You see somebody with this huge hammer dressed up in cosplay, and you're like, that might be a little weird for a little kid. So all of a sudden he like goes, I want one too, like really fast and really shy. And I was like, okay, come here. And so I like went like this and did a little pose and like put my hammer next to him. And then he was like, thank you. And then like ran away. And I was like, oh, like my heart was so warm that a kid who was so nervous still tried to get a photo with me because he really wanted it. And I was like, that is so cute. And so like little moments like that also keep me going in cosplay. Like, oh.
I can understand that one completely. I've said this before on the podcast. When I first went ahead and dressed up as Ash Williams from Evil Dead, I had this young kid dressed up as Jason. So he got the hockey mask, everything. And he walks up to me and he looks me straight. I was like, "You're the guy. I'm the bad guy. We need a photo together."
Aww.
It, I loved how he said it. It was so fun. So, you know, his mom took a photo of us, and I could see he's looking at my chainsaw. So I asked him, "Did you want to wear it?" Sure enough, yes, he did. So I let him wear it. But before I hand out of the chainsaw, I moved my hand around a bit to make it look like it was in the sleeve, so it looked like it was cut off, like in the movie. That way, I've got it here, just completely wrapped. I give it to him. He's holding it. I'm next to him with my hand, you know, looking like it's missing, going, And we had fun, got the picture. He absolutely adored it. So the funny part about that is, at the Fling that you went to, I was dressed as Ash again because I love that cosplay. And he came back up to me and said, "Do you remember me? I was Jason." And I was just like, oh my God, hi. And he wanted a picture taken again. But he remembered, he made sure to let me know about it. And it hit such a level that, okay, this has been a couple of years. And dude, you're bigger. But hi, how are you? And it solidified that this is what I'd like to do. I want to go ahead and make people smile. I want to dress up. I want to do all this. And, it just, yeah, it's a memory I will never forget because he started off with a straight face, and then 2 years later comes back up to me and is like, "Hey, remember me?"
That's that is so sweet. I cannot imagine. Like, that's like one other thing too that I
Both.
feel like doesn't get talked about is those little sweet moments. Like, it's so heartwarming. Like, that made me just want to be like, oh, oh, that's so cute. Like, that's so nice.
This is why I want to do more because originally I just did Castiel. I've done Ash, Evil Dead. I just recently finally got my gloves and jacket for overhaul from My Hero Academia, so that one I cannot wait for. I'm excited about that. But
That's
I
gonna be
want to
so
do a
cool.
more. Oh, it feels cool to put the code on. It's like very formative. But I've got a couple other ideas that I'm working on. One of them is from an old musical. I want to have fun with that. But I do have a couple others that I need friends with to do it because it's a multitude of characters to make the scene work properly.
I
And I want
totally
to have
get
fun
that.
with it. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm what you would call a budget cosplayer. I don't spend too much money. I mean, I will get clothes off the rack. I will go to a thrift shop or whatnot, but usually one or two props I build. The rest of it's just regular clothes. If I could get a sewing machine, I'll sew, but until then, and
Yeah,
I'm
that's
yeah,
like that's what like that's what I like to do. Like, of course, I kind of went all out because it was like my birthday, but like I definitely plan on like reusing things and like for my shoes, I actually used my thrifted white boots that had like a big platform, and I was like, these are perfect for my shoes. So I was originally gonna paint them, and then I was like, well, actually, I kind of want to wear these again. So I had the boot covers, and it worked perfect. And like that's what I think is really cool is people like that's one thing that I love about cosplay, especially when it comes to like people who like, are making their own cosplays and they take different elements from different things to make it. Like especially like this term on TikTok like closet cosplays. I think it's so cool cuz I love seeing people like take random things that they already own and then make it fit the character. It also just adds its own element of like expression, especially like so there's like this one game that I'm into. It's like a little rhythm game and the characters are like in high school, so they have outfits where they're like at the school, and then they have outfits for when they're like out and being casual. And like seeing people like give their own little personalities to like their little ideas of what these characters would be like, I think that's so cool because like it helps like bring like the character to life to me. I love seeing people do what they want with their own cosplays, and then it's just so cool.
I agree. But I did not know about the term the closet cosplay is about like that, so I'm gonna have to look that up. That's actually intriguing.
Yeah,
But
so
it's actually funny that you mentioned it though, because the chainsaw that you saw for Ash for Evil Dead is foam mats with a tuna fish strainer and a egg cutter glued together, painted with a couple old L brackets.
that is so cool. I literally love that. That
And
is like that's amazing. Being like super resourceful and using what you already have. Like that's sick.
I was thinking of more along the lines I didn't have much money, so what do I got? How can I do it? I'll take the resourceful. I like that.
No, that's cool. Like that's another thing is cool is like seeing people who just love this character so much that they'll do anything to make sure that they have like a cool cosplay for it. And that's what I love. It's like people just showing their love and expression through dressing up and like cosplaying especially like I when I was a kid, speaking of My Hero Academia, my favorite thing to watch when I was like 10 10 to 12 because I was a big My Hero Academia fan. Like, oh my gosh, I was such a big fan. My favorite thing to watch was the cosplay panels where they like act like the characters and will like answer questions. Those were my favorite things to watch. And then like I would love watching people do those like cosplay vlogs, and like there's just so many different realms of cosplay, and I love seeing everybody's different version of it. And like there's something for everybody too, which I think is just really cool.
Exactly. It's not linear like a lot of people think. You don't just put a costume on because it's not Halloween just because you want to. Some people go ahead and do it for themselves. Others do it because it helps identify and it's braver, you know, to get out in the world. Some do it because of, you know, fundraisers to bring more to people, children, you know, put a smile on your face. I mean, there's so many reasons out there to cosplay. There's so many levels. I mean, when we watch a movie, essentially when you think about the movie, actors are cosplaying different characters that are portrayed for them. So these guys are getting paid millions. We're only getting paid maybe a few bucks, but we're all having the same fun because we get to go ahead and be someone else for a day or more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, bring back imagination, you know?
Yeah,
People don't have anymore.
that's it. Literally, like that's the best way I can put it, is like bringing back like the imagination aspect, like especially because for me, like I guess I can, like, not to get super personal, but like I have a lot of like problems with like anxiety, and so for me sometimes with cosplay, like when I was dressed as Amy, of course I was nervous, but then I also felt kind of like confident because it's like I'm a character, she would be confident right now, and like my cosplay looks really cool and I want to show it off, and it gave me, someone who's really anxious, a new source of putting myself out there and doing what I want to do. And it helped, like literally, like cosplaying at that event was my dream, was to do something big like that, and I did it. And now it's helping push me to continue going farther with that dream. Like I hope to one day, of course, be a famous cosplayer and like be a judge at some like big cons like DreamHack or like Fan Expo. Like that's like a way far out there kind of dream. But like it's helping push me towards maybe whenever one day doing that. And like especially because like as a teenager, I feel like I didn't really have like a hobby, like I didn't have a thing. But now I'm getting really creative, trying to find ways to bring these things from video games to life and finding ways to do that. Especially when it came to like the hammer, of course, owe it all to my friend who literally did like help me with most of this, help me with all of it. And like he was amazing. Like bringing Amy Rose's hammer to life and making it big and huge and like half my size just like hers was so cool. And like knowing it's bringing imagination back, like you said. It's so nice. I don't know how to explain it. Like whenever I look at photos or videos, like almost like every day I'll be like, wow, I did that, and then I'll like go look at a photo or video and be like, that was cool. I should do that again. And it just gives me this nice feeling. Like whenever I'm sad, I remember like that cosplay event, or I remember making my hammer, and then it gets me even more excited for what I'm going to do in the future, because of course I'm making a cosplay right now. I'm hoping to do a cosplay, like a cosplay competition, and like it's just, I don't know, it's amazing, really. Like once people don't look at it from just what you see on like Instagram and like those really famous cosplayers, there's so much more to it, I guess. Sorry, I have a really bad, I just talk and talk.
Hey, I understand completely, but you know what we're here for? We go ahead and hear from people. We want to go ahead and hear their insight. You know, it's not linear where how you got into cosplay. Oh, Halloween. One and done. No, we want to hear what drives you, your passion, you know, and that's the whole thing. I mean, you know, people have a story. Some of them are afraid to tell it. Others don't have an outlet. And we're here, you know? And like you said, you have this memory now, but if you feel down, you look at your desk. You have the award. You wake up. Your hammer's over by there. You've got all this. You even have the memory with the kids, the smile that they've made. You know, these are things to drive you. I mean, some people don't have that. They have other things, but it's the whole point. Memories. It drives you in a whole different way and defines who you are in the future, you know, if you let it in a positive way. Look at it negative, and it'll keep you there. We don't want that. We want to go ahead and we want people to grow. We want them to, express who they are. I mean, you would
Yeah.
not expect it because I seem to talk, I seem to be confident, but believe it or not, every time I get onto the podcast, anytime I go to the con, I do anything, I am nervous. Every time I have anxiety to the point where sometimes I've made myself sick. And I have to calm myself and find that point just to go ahead and get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, because I love movies, it's reciting something from the character I'm portraying, like with Ash. This is my boomstick. That's right. This is cobalt blue steel, 12 gauge Remington, through the whole line. And there it is. There's my grounding point.
Mm-hmm. No, that's having little things like that, even if people like I realize is like I don't really care what people think. If this makes me happy and then like if this grounds me, that's what grounds me and works for me. And like having little things like that, like that's amazing that you can find something that works for you and that helps you. Like especially because like the day of the con, even though I was super excited, like literally on the car right there, I would have to like give myself deep breaths and calm myself down because I was like getting anxious because it's like a lot of people and like I've never done anything like it before. And what helped calm me down was knowing that like was hoping that I was gonna have pictures taken because I really wanted to take pictures with people and meet people. And like what calmed me down was like you're gonna remember this forever. This is something that you're gonna carry with you forever, and it's gonna mean a lot. So
Exactly.
just keep that in mind. And so then I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is gonna be great. Yeah. And then I'd be like, Sonic's gonna be there, and you're gonna find a Sonic cosplayer, and then you guys are gonna bond over something, and that's gonna be cool because you love Sonic. And I was like, you're right. I have to
Definitely.
hype myself up.
It happens, Now, you had that reward next to you that you won. Now, that was second place in your very first Comic-Con.
Yeah, so it like lights up. Currently, I have to unplug it to show it to you because the cord's really short. I have my dad set it up on my desk so that it lights up while like whenever I turn on my computer, and it has like it says Grand Rapids Spring Comic Con costume contest, best young adult second place, which is really cool because I originally just said I was just a beginner, and I think it went like beginner, young adult, and then like I don't really remember how it worked, but like, because there was a lot of different things, but I originally just put myself in the beginner category. So getting second place in young adult was pretty cool. I was like, oh wow. I was really surprised. And like, I literally like, since it glows, it comes like the little remote with the LED. I literally turn it on like every night and like I use it as a little nightlight. Like whenever I just like look at it and like recently, I play like PC games. And so at night, I use it as my little nightlight too, especially when I'm playing like Sonic Adventure 2. I just recently got that. I have it
Nice.
as my little nightlight so that I can see where like my Coke can is and stuff like that. It's so great. I love my little award.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's well deserved, and let's go ahead and show people why it's so well deserved. Here we go.
Oh my gosh. I was so nervous. Like if you look in the video, you can see me like biting my lip and like trying to stay calm. Because a really cool thing about what happened was one of the people that I met in line who had gone right before me, right before I walked on, I was like, do I look okay? And she was like, here, let me fix your wig, let me fix your eyelash, and helped me. And it was so great. And I was like, oh, and it helped me feel more confident. Oh my gosh, when I was recorded, I felt so cool. Yeah, my clip. I can't believe that like I had such a good experience and like cool photos. Like I'm so thankful to the people that were there and for the people who put so much work into editing these photos and posting them. I really tried to find everybody because like some of these were sent to me and I couldn't find everybody who took the photos, but I know a lot of them were from Joe, like the half camera cosplay. So like major thanks to him and to everybody who took photos and videos, and my dad who took a lot of the videos. It was such an amazing thing.
Oh, definitely. But this right here, I mean, that hammer is amazing. The dress, the boots, everything. I mean, you did a great job.
Thank you.
I mean, wow, is all I can say. I mean, and the poise that you put with it right there, just showing how confident it made you feel. Even after you said how nervous you were, you just, you had that smile, that confidence. You're upright, just having fun, you
Yes,
know. But
thank
when
you.
you do that, everyone else has that same feeling. It radiates, Once you're confident, then someone else is confident, then and so forth.
Yeah, that and like the thing is, like I had a little bit of a mishap before the show. Right before it happened, one of my friends who actually my best friend who has helped me make the hammer was going to show up. And then he ended up like getting into like a traffic or something issue and like
Mhm.
no it was not his fault. But then like the person who had helped me so much do this and like had helped me prepare for the cosplay contest cuz like as much as I had support from my family, they didn't really know what it was. And my
Yeah.
friend he was like the one who was like helping me keep grounded. So I was like, "Oh no, the one person who knows what this is isn't here to help give me pointers." So I was literally reciting everything he told me in my head and I was like, "You know what? You're going to do this." Amy Rose, her hammer, she's always holding it and she has this confidence. She knows that she could Can I swear on this podcast? Can I swear?
Yes. Yes. We just
She
don't
knows
do it
that
like a sailor, but
she knows that she's gonna kick ass. So like she has this big hammer that's heavy. It's like a ton. So she was, of course, she's gonna hold that and she's gonna feel confident. So that's something I try to tell myself was like, as much as she is confident, she's also cute. She has that little bit of she's cutesy. So I was like trying to like stay in that like character and as well, I'm not really good at it, but it was great because like
you could have fooled
it
me
was
because
amazing.
you had that all the way through every time there was a photo or anything.
Thank you. That like means so much. I was trying so hard because like when people would ask for a photo, I was like, okay, try to look cool right now. But then there's some photos I took with people where I was like, can I take a photo with you? And then I'm going like this, and I was like, oh, maybe I should have held up my hammer or something. But it was amazing. I had so much fun, and like another big thing was getting compliments. I can take compliments, but like I was getting so much that I was feeling overwhelmed. I was like, I don't deserve this niceness. Like it was so kind and everybody was so sweet and it was just amazing. It was so amazing.
I think that's one of the reasons why I like the Grand Rapids Comic Con so much. Is every year I've gone, it's that nice atmosphere, that inclusivity, if you will. I mean, Mark Hodges, the main guy who runs the Comic Con, has done a phenomenal job every year that I've been able to go. And from talking to some of the other cosplayers and other attendants over the years, even before that, he's done phenomenal. If you want a con and you want to run right, this is the guy to do. He's the one to talk to. And just seeing this, I have to agree with him wholeheartedly. And after talking to him as well, he's an awesome guy. So
Yeah.
every year, I am so thankful I get to go.
Yeah. It was amazing, especially for like my first time going to a bigger con. I don't think I'd choose any other con to go to. Even though like I did have some like moments where it was like, oh no, I still like literally the con was so great that like that's what I take away, was just how great it was. I barely even think about the other things that happened. Like it was literally so amazing. All of the vendors were so nice. Everybody there was nice and like it was just so great. I don't know. Like it was organized well and like when it came to like the cosplay lineup and stuff like that, like they were just so kind. I don't know. Like I know I'm like repeating myself, but like it was really great. It was really well organized. Like I just for my first time, I don't think it could have gone any better, honestly. It was so great.
That's definitely good to hear. But sometimes you kind of have to repeat yourself. Those who are watching or listening, maybe they haven't actually experienced it, and it's hard to put into words how awesome it actually is. I mean, when you go to an event and there's a lot of people, of course it can be overwhelming. Is everyone elbow to elbow? Is there room to move around? Are people rude? And every time I've gone, not only is there room to walk around, people are nice. People are enjoying themselves. And you feel kind of like a rock star, if you will. If you cosplay, even if you don't, they're just so nice. And the vendors, amazing people, great product. the employees that are there all dressed with capes to make sure to serve you and have fun. Same
Yeah.
thing. They're smiles, nothing but, hey, I'm walking into what seems like my head of what I want this to be, and it's real. Just, yeah.
Yeah, like, is it okay if I do talk about like an experience I did have at the con? Though it does have like a good resolution, just like something did happen.
Yep,
So,
that's fine. Ironically, you have been mentioning things that I was going to ask, and it's just kind of flowing in without me saying it.
oh,
So by all means,
sorry, thank you. I have a problem where I will just talk and talk, especially because I love talking about this stuff, so I get excited. But so as we know, I was dressed up as Amy Rose. And Amy Rose, she's a very like cutesy character. She's very girly girl and like I don't know, she's very cute. And so I had my dad. He had to go out to the car for me because I was not gonna just leave my hammer sitting around and I was still getting ready. I was like, Dad, can you go grab my makeup bag from the car? And so my dad was like, got it. So he goes, grabs my makeup bag and grabs my phone for me. And then I'm like getting ready for the cosplay contest that's coming up. I'm making sure my wig looks okay, that like my dress is all right. And then all of a sudden, I have somebody come up to me and I'm not gonna like I don't know their names or anything, but I have somebody come up to me and he's like, "Hi." And I was like, "Hello." And I thought it was just going to ask me for a photo, but then he starts kind of like asking me about my like socials and I was like, at first I was like, "Oh, okay, like maybe he just wants to see my stuff." But then he starts asking me for my age. And I was like, "Okay, this is getting a little weird. This is like my first time. I'm getting really confused." And so then I'm like I deny him and I'm like, "I'm sorry, no, I'm not really interested." And then he was like, "Well, then who was that guy over there?" And I was like, that's my dad. So please like back off.
ooh,
Yeah, so that happened. And I thought that was that. But then as I'm walking through the con, he follows me and he finds me again and tries to ask for my number again. And I've already denied him, told him my age and everything. I told him no. So I was like, okay, this is a little much. So then I'm at the cosplay contest, right? I
mhm.
had just walked up to give my dad my phone to record me for when if I do get called up. So then as I'm walking back from the front row where my dad was sitting and walking back to go sit to my next to my new friend, he tries to run across the aisle and ask for my phone number again.
Him.
Yeah. He's trying to run to me and get my number. And I'm like, dude, I'm being very serious right now. I am not interested. And that kind of freaked me out. So then I'm just like trying to stay calm and I'm like, you know what? One weird guy is not going to ruin the day. And it didn't. Like literally when I think about the con, I think about how amazing it was and I don't think about this one guy cuz he is not going to ruin it for me. And as well, the whole con was amazing. It was just the fault of this one dude. So then I get out of the con and so I go up to this little desk. One of the vendors was selling Sonic plushies and my favorite characters from Sonic, of course. I really like Shadow. He's one of my other favorite characters, and I'm a big nerd about him. So I'm looking at the plushies, trying to find a Shadow one because I was like, my first con and a Shadow plushie, hell yeah! So I'm looking, and then all of a sudden, literally this all happens in like 2 seconds. I turn to go talk to a very nice lady, her grandma, and a granddaughter who was telling me how much they love my cosplay and stuff. And my sister's standing right behind me. And my sister, she's like very protective. She wasn't dressed up in cosplay. She just wanted to celebrate the day with me. This guy, I saw him coming and I was like, oh, he's going to ask for my number again. So then I'm like, I'm just going to ignore him. So then my sister I didn't know this because my back was turned. So like my back's turned through all of this. So then my sister goes up to him and is like, hey, my sister has told you about 3 times to back off. Like you've asked 3 times. They're not interested. It doesn't matter if you like the character and think she's cute. She's not interested. It's also like I'm not going to look like this character all the time. Like I'm dressing up once. Like I am not the character. I'm just a cosplayer.
Yeah.
And so then the dude starts getting really defensive and he's like, if you don't move right now, I'm going to like do something. I'm going to like hurt you. And she's like,
Ooh.
excuse me? And so my sister, who's being really protective, is like, hey, back off. So then he goes to try and like do something. And so then my sister's like, hey, in front of everyone right now, are you actually going to do that? And then he runs off. And I didn't see any of this. So I love my sister for protecting me. So then she pulls me away from talking to somebody, and I'm like, hey, what the hell? I was talking to someone. She's like, we need to go. And I was like, why? It's been amazing so far. She gets my dad and she's like, yeah, this happened, yada yada. We go take a minute in the car because she starts like crying because of course, who wouldn't? That's scary. So
Yeah.
then we go in and we talk to security, and they treated us really well. They had everybody surveying, looking for him. They made sure that I, to stay safe, stayed in the back room with my sister. We stayed back there as they looked through like security cams trying to find him. They were asking me questions. They were taking this all very seriously, and some of the
Oh, yeah.
security was cops as well. So they had
Mhm.
cops there, so I felt very safe. And then they all stood next to me and they were like, "Hey, we're so sorry this happened. I can't believe this did." So like it was not the con's fault, it was the one dude.
Yeah.
But like the reason why I talk about that is because for one, kind of like raising, I guess, like awareness for like creepy things that can happen, but also like for me, I don't let that experience ruin it because I was like, that was one creepy guy, and he just, and luckily it was handled well. That was one creepy guy. I'm not gonna let that ruin my fun because when I think about the con, I think about all of the people that I met, all the amazing cosplayers I saw, the cosplay contest. Like it was such an amazing moment for me, and having some one creepy dude, it's I'm not gonna let that ruin it. And so like I guess what I'm trying to say is like even through the hard times, still just like persevere, do what you want, and not let people ruin it for you. But also like stay safe.
Exactly. We've had a couple other cosplayers on the show, and they've agreed with the same thing. Cosplay does not equal consent,
It does not. It does not.
and people have to learn this. But some people, it's not easy to learn apparently, and they need to be told in different ways. So if
Mhm,
you see, nice, souvenirs around your wrists, well, I guess you learned the hard way. But
mhm.
no, treat people with respect. If they don't want a picture, respect it. If they don't want to talk to you, same thing. Just people got to realize there's boundaries. You
Yeah,
know.
that's, like, a big thing, especially because I had been polite the first couple times, like,
Yeah.
because I'm this is not me trying to, like, toot my own horn or anything, but, like, my sister tells me I can be too nice, and it's usually because I just wanna not I don't wanna make the person feel bad. So when he came up to me the first 2 times, I was like, "Oh, maybe he really does like me, and I'm just gonna like, be really nice, be like, 'Hey, I'm really sorry, I'm just not interested.'" And then
Mhm.
even, like, I was like, "I just don't yeah, I'm so sorry." But then, like, when he started, like, rushing to try and come up to me while I was currently, like, in the middle of doing something, that's the first time that I actually stood my ground. I was like, "Hey, stop," like, because I can't imagine, like, and it was
Yeah.
crazy, especially because this was my first con, so I always think about the good things, but, like, having that happen to me, it was like, I almost thought that wouldn't happen because it's like, that's only stuff you hear about at, like, bigger cons or, like, to more famous people. So
Yeah.
it happening to me, I was like, "Oh," especially because he started doing that after we already had a photo together, and, like, in the photo, he got, like, really close to me, and, like, I'm wearing, like, a backless dress, right? So, like, him
Yep.
touching me, I was like, "Oh, that's really weird," but I try to just put it as, like, "Oh, he was just trying to take a cute photo." So then I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh," and, like, the thing is, that's I feel like what a lot of people need to realize is, like, just because we are dressed up and we want to be seen doesn't mean you need to, like, I don't know, be super in our face about it. Because
Exactly.
like, now that I'm going to the next con, I'm taking proper precaution. I'm actually gonna have, like, more people with me this time, and I plan on, like, recording as the con's going on, like, kind of
Hmm.
like for a little mini vlog for memories, but also, like, just in
Yeah.
case anything like that happens again. Because
Exactly.
it's scary, to be honest. Like, my sister, like, she doesn't want me to go because of that. But then I told her, like, "This means a lot to me, and one creepy guy, I'm gonna make sure that doesn't happen again, and I'm gonna take my proper precaution." And it's just like, have
Hmm.
like, that's a big thing, is, like, the cosplay not meaning consent. And I thought people had a pretty good grasp with that, at least from, like, the stories I heard. I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'll be fine. I'm Amy Rose. Nobody's gonna come up to me and do that." And then it happened, and I was like, "Oh." And it just
Yeah.
makes you feel really gross, and, like, luckily, I was able to push through because I was like, "You know what? I'm not gonna let that get down on my on the because like, my
Which is
family
good.
kinda made it, like, my day, so it was like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let that happen.
Well, that's
And
good. Too many
yeah,
people, they dwell on it and that's it, and then they don't ever want to do that again. So if that squishes any bit of your passion, then that's not good, and that's bad on him, big
yeah.
time. So I'm glad you're able to go ahead and get past that.
Yeah, thank you for letting me talk about it. It's kinda
No, not
nice
a
to
problem.
talk to somebody about it, because recently I've only really talked to like my friends and family. So it's nice to
Mhm.
kind of just, I don't know, because it would like as much
I
as I
get it.
say, as much as it doesn't really affect me, it still like did happen, and it still like should be talked about. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like I had somebody literally stalking me at the con. Like that's kind of scary, especially like because they couldn't find him after what had happened. Like he pulled
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I said this, but when he said I was gonna hurt you, he pulled out a knife. Like he was gonna hurt my
Ooh,
sister.
that you did not. But now I'll tell you this: if you're at the Grand Rapids Comic Con and I'm there and something like that's happening, come up. I say this to anyone there. If you see me at the con, if you're not feeling safe, if you need someone to be by you to get away from someone else, whatnot, come up to me. I'm a
That's
safe
really nice
person,
to
and
know.
I will do that.
That
The
helps.
the cosplayers that are there, the professional cosplayers, Night Mage, BB Alcade, Andy Serby, all of them, they understand, and I can guarantee that they would go ahead and definitely support as well. Anyone. So ever
Yeah,
need
it's
anything, just come see us.
thank you. It's nice because I didn't know anybody. So now I do know some people, and hopefully I'll know more people. So then now I can have somebody to go to. Because at the time, I just had my dad and my sister. And then my dad was like the one that's like, okay, we need to go to security about this. So now
Yeah,
that I know I'll have people that I can go to and be like, hey, this guy's following me. What do I do? Because to me, this was my first time. I didn't know what was going on. And
exactly.
so thank you for offering that. I'm definitely going to keep that in mind for when I go in November.
Not a
Because
problem.
I would definitely also say hi in November. And but yeah, I'm knowing thank you. That's really nice to know. Really. Like it means a lot. I hope you know that. It really
Not a
does.
problem. I understand. I am a father, two daughters. I'm protective myself, so I get it, and I don't like hearing people go through that. So that's why even when I'm at the con, if I see something, I'll step in, even if I don't know the person. I'll
That's
make
really
sure I'll
good.
ask. But we are coming to the end of the episode here today.
Yeah.
We covered a lot, and I really really appreciate your enthusiasm there.
No,
Um,
thank you for having me.
oh, not a problem. Have a couple other things that I wanted to go ahead and say before the episode is over, but you're going to be going to the Grand Rapids Comic Con in November,
Yes.
which I will be seeing you there. Um, this right here is the last episode of season one. So we will be back, of course, for season two, have more guests, more fun. But it was nice to go ahead and close this out with a bang. I mean, it was a blast. But I also wanted to go ahead and mention that Cosplayers Paradigm is currently running a fundraiser for the Children's Miracle Network of Helen DeVos. And it's going on till July 6th, and you can go to the Facebook page, donate. Right now, I have a nice little incentive too. Now, this covers with the next cons I'm going to be going to as well. The goal is $2,000, which is not too bad, but I want to go ahead and try doing something nice. If we can reach half the goal, I've talked to the respective owners for the Comic Cons, and they've agreed I will take a pie to the face if we can reach half. However, if we somehow miraculously are able to reach our goal of 2,000, I will do a drawing, and the three people will win the chance to choose what my cosplay will be on the first day. Now, I know this can be dangerous and PG related, hopefully, but I wanted to go ahead and do something not only for children, but I wanted to have something showing people that I'm inclusive. I want to do this, and it's not about money. It's about making people smile. And if I can go ahead and take a pie to the face or dress up in a fun way, I'll do it.
That's amazing. I
But
hope you reach your goal because that'd be really funny.
same here. But we will talk to everyone later, and I thank you for being on the show. And if you want to stay in the studio afterwards, I will be waiting. Until
Perfect. Thank
then,
you.
you're welcome. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night. And thanks for joining us for season one.
Are you interested in cosplay, currently a cosplayer, or have an experience you wish to share? Want to be on the show? Simply text, email, or send a message on our Facebook page. I can't wait to hear from you.